The provincial government took a major step today to push its controversial long-term care bill through the legislature. That's despite an uproar around the bill and accusations that the government is attacking senior citizens. Al Sweeney has the story.
MPPs stood in the legislature one by one to approve a fast track for their long-term care bill.
I declare the motion carried.
The motion allows the government to send the bill to final reading this week, less than 2 weeks after it was introduced. The bill is an effort to get certain patients who don't need acute care beds out of hospitals and into long-term care. But critics, like those at an NDP virtual town hall, call it coercion of seniors.
It's about discrimination against the elderly, against people whose lives are seen as less valuable than other patients.
One of the main concerns is that the bill could force seniors into long-term care far from their families. The government's own explanation of its Bill 7 admits that it authorizes certain actions to be carried out without the consent of these patients. It says only that the government must make reasonable efforts to obtain the patient's consent. But critics say vulnerable patients may be intimidated by the process, and there's concern they'll be threatened with massive hospital fees, up to $1,500 a day, if they refuse to move.
Welcome to Doug Ford's Ontario, where you can move vulnerable, frail patients near the end of their lives to a place that's farther away from their family, where the threat of a large hospital bill, it's okay to use that to coerce patients and their families to do something that may not be in their best interests. This bill is wrong. It should be withdrawn.
Opposition MPPs say the government is showing disrespect for democracy and vulnerable seniors.
There are frontline workers and families that desperately want to speak to this bill, to put their case forward about the hardships that they're going to endure, and the government should have the decency to do that. They should have the respect for democracy to do that.
What are we doing? Why are we not respecting our seniors?
Premier Doug Ford's comments were limited, saying he's trying to fix a problem left over from past governments.
These are the problems decades in the making. They were created by the NDP and Liberals.
So the fact that Premier Ford said little and left his cabinet ministers to deal with the controversy today indicates he wants this bill passed with little consultation. Now, the details of how the legislation will be applied are still not clear, with the legislation set to become law before the end of the week.